Good morning. We are out in Plymouth, Michigan picking up our car for the week, a Rivian R1S. I am very, very excited to spend some time living with the Rivian R1S and seeing what it's like. Let's hop in. It is currently charged to 98%, showing 360 miles of range. I will get myself familiar, get everything set up, log into Spotify, and let's go. All right, testing out the highway driving system. So you see it's blue, it's lit up. You have to keep a hand on the steering wheel. But look at all the little animations of the truck and cars around me. Stay in the lane, maintaining speed. So I'm really excited to spend some time with the R1S because I haven't had a chance to drive one yet. I drove the R1T when it first came out, like 6 months after delivery started, a launch edition, and I was quite impressed, but I just haven't had a chance to spend some time with an R1S. Obviously, in the meantime, Rivian has done quite well. They've delivered many vehicles, satisfied customers, and the really exciting news recently is the R2, the R3, R3X. The R3X, that thing is so awesome. I would totally want to own one of those. But the R1S, again, the second vehicle they released, R1T and then R1S, so the bigger ones, and I am definitely quite excited to see what this is like. Just finished filming some exterior clips, took some photos, and figures the sun starts peeking out, but it's still a cloudy day. This R1S does look really, really cool. I was playing with the adjustable height air suspension. This is in normal right now. I will definitely show you guys all the way lowest and then max height for off-road. It's unlocked right now, so the door handles are popped out. I could not find a way to both leave it on, because I wanted the headlights on, and have the door handles pop in. Every time I locked the car, it just closed back in. So I was like, whatever. But it does look really cool. Ooh, I'm gonna climb up here. So I was getting like cool vantage point shots. It's just a giant pile of like wood chips here. This elevated vantage point is really cool, looking down at the R1S. All right, with that, we're gonna head back in. I need to head home because I am starving. I've eaten no food all day. Eddie is hungry. I just spent like 2 hours filming all these different shots of the R1S, detail shots, taking photos, and that's always a good sign. That means the vehicle is interesting. It has nice design elements, cool features to show, because if it's a boring car, you like take 3 photos and like you're done, right? There's not much to show, but with this, I could probably spend another 2 hours here taking even more pictures and whatever, but I'm really hungry. I've had a protein bar all day, so I'm gonna head out and grab lunch. So the gear selector stalk is right here, up for reverse. Immediately pulls up the cameras with the 360 overhead view, backup camera, decent resolution. It's a really big screen, so it does look a little bit blurry, but I mean, it's still very easy to see everything. And then if we go into drive, pulls up the front camera. Nice. All right, Angel.
All right, Eddie.
Why did we start off like that? It is now time to go to the gym. We are done with the workday, and that means we're taking the Rivian, and it's your first impression, because I sent you a picture, but first time going out in the Rivian. And you've never been in one before, right?
That is correct.
All right, this should be exciting.
So first impressions on the
Yes.
exterior. So I think I really like the color. Green is my favorite color, and I love the emerald almost. It's not really that emerald in person. It's more of like a dull green.
It's called forest green.
But I do love forest green shades. It kind of looks very futuristic with the lights.
Watch this.
I thought that was pretty cool. And I do like how tall it is. So I'm 5'9.5". Am I taller than the car? Or is it
No, the car's still, and I can raise the suspension. Are you really 5'9.5"? Are you sure you're not 5'3"? I have a picture that says otherwise.
Are you sure you're 6'3"?
All right.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Let's go to the gym.
Wow.
Woo, that was close to my AA toe, boy.
So I've never actually heard of Rivian before. Is it its own brand?
Rivian started with a truck called the R1T. They're a startup.
Oh, so
relatively new. Yeah, they've been doing well for the last 3-4 years for sure.
Is it like a Japanese Chinese?
No, they're American.
Oh,
yeah.
Rivian is okay.
California,
American.
and they've got facilities here. That's I picked this up from their like one of their buildings out here. Yeah. No, Rivian is all American. They are actually, without a doubt, the second most successful EV startup manufacturer in America. China kind of throws a wrench in it because China's a lot of EV stuff, but a lot of it's also government funded. Anyways, Rivians are quite good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So what year did they start as a startup? Do you know?
Comment. 20,
You're not sure?
20. When did I drive the R1T? I think that was 2022.
Oh, so they're new.
No, they're new. Yeah, so that's like 3.
Oh, wow. Okay,
My timelines are all funky. The last couple years are just kind of a blur. Anyways, yeah, they're new.
Okay.
This is their second car. They did R1T, which was a truck, and then this is the R1S, and they just announced a new one, R2, which is kind of a smaller version of this, and then there's an R3 coming, which is like a little hatchback wagon thing that looks awesome. We might have to buy one of those when it comes out in like 2027, because the R3X looks freaking awesome. But this is the R1S, kind of their bigger flagship SUV.
Affordable or no?
This one's $102,000 US as option. So
kind of a lot.
It is. It's definitely in the premium stuff.
For a new, like a startup brand that no one really knows about, 102, but it is
True,
an EV.
but they typically, a lot of times they start at the high end and then move their way down. Tesla did the same thing, right?
That's
Model
fair.
S and then later the Model 3. They're doing this with
Totally.
R2 and R3 are more affordable, smaller ones.
Okay.
Like the R2 is supposed to start like 45,000. So that's the more mainstream. This is definitely, people are like cross-shopping. Yeah, like people with Range Rovers and stuff like that are going to get this instead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this is more of a mid to luxury kind of brand.
It's got some really nice touches. I mean,
Okay.
get your
wow,
first.
it's actually really big.
Yeah, it's 3 rows. There's a third row back there. This is all vegan leather. It's got real metal trim. This wood here is like open pore ash. Feel the texture.
Oh,
So that's
cool.
like real wood
this is
trim.
Real wood, yeah.
So it's got a lot of nice features. We have adjustable height air suspension, variable drive modes, the screen here. It's got proper range. This is the wireless charging pad.
This part?
Just press the little button.
Oh, where?
No, right.
Oh, right here? Whoa. Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
opens up.
All right.
Storage bin down
Very
in
nice.
there. It's definitely nice. The cup holders. We've got, and then this giant storage bin down here.
Wait, do the doors open up back there too, or
Yeah.
How does that?
It's got a split tailgate. I'll show you later.
Oh,
I'll show you
okay.
later. Panoramic glass
I
roof.
love that. That's that's so nice.
It's definitely nice, honey. It's very, very nice.
Okay.
All right, we're
Do you
gonna
like
head
this
off to
more
the
than-
gym.
I was gonna ask if you like this more than the Defender, or it seems kind of comparable just coming in, just sitting in here.
So
The height, I mean, I feel like the Defender is bigger though, because it feels like right when I got into the Defender, it felt like what do you call the G-Wagon?
Yes.
This one seems a little smaller, I would say.
It's actually fairly similar overall length.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like 200 inches long, I think. But here, let me show you something real quick.
It feels really. Oh, I love this. It's so high up.
The high up. Wait, just wait.
Oh,
Ready?
okay. There's
Ready?
the air suspension thing you were talking about, right?
Highest.
Ooh. Oh, hop out.
Yeah, you see how high the ride height is.
Oh gosh.
This is for off-roading, obviously. You're not gonna drive around like this normally.
Whoa.
Just to close it and just step away and see the crazy proportion when you're.
I love it. I love really high up cars. Again, being Canadian and having, Canadian winters and things like that.
These are all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
They have a snow mode now.
Okay.
That's the cool thing with these EVs. They keep pushing over their updates. So like snow mode was like a new thing, right? I'm gonna go back into snow mode here, standard, but we'll just go on to all-purpose, and off to the gym we go.
Okay. I was just gonna say that I think people would prefer the Defender over the Rivian because Defender's been around for a long time. Land Rover
has, but Rivian has, by a lot of like different studies, one of the, if not the highest customer satisfaction.
Really?
Like buyers who will return buy, purchase another one, that type of thing.
Oh.
Rivian has done a fantastic job with developing that brand loyalty.
Okay.
So yes, Land Rover has been around and is maybe a more recognizable name,
Right.
but Rivian has done such a great job in their short amount of time existing.
Oh.
So I would probably argue almost maybe otherwise. Yeah, I know a lot of people who went from like really high-end nice cars and they either added a Rivian or own one or tried, and they like love them.
So would you spend your hard-earned money on a Rivian?
I don't need an R1S, but if I needed an EV, and after getting to spend some more time with it, I really like. I mean, that's why you saw when we were upstairs working earlier, I was playing around with the R2 configurator and then taking a look at the R3. They're really good. They're doing a really good job.
Whoa! Oh my god! What the hell?
All right, time to give the R1S a mini review. So Rivian is a relatively new manufacturer, and obviously in the EV space, Tesla is still going to be the dominant force, but Rivian has been growing quite quickly. In 2023, they delivered twice as many vehicles as they did in 2022. And now with the upcoming R2, R3, R3X, I feel like they're just on that point where they're about to really start growing to mass market, right? The volume is going to come with more entry-level, more affordable, smaller vehicle options. It kind of follows that Tesla formula where they had the higher end stuff at first, the Model S, Model X, but now Model 3 and Model Y are the ones that sell the majority of volume. This is technically the second vehicle Rivian made. So they had the R1T, the truck, R1S, and then they have the Amazon delivery van. But they started off with a truck and then the SUV, and they're shared platforms essentially. I drove the R1T launch edition when it first came out. I believe that one was the quad motor one. This one here is a performance dual motor with the max battery pack. So there are three power options available for the R1S. This one here is a performance dual motor, is 665 horsepower and 829 pound-feet of torque, which are quite healthy numbers, 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. The entry-level one is just the regular dual motor all-wheel drive, is 533 horsepower, 610 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. At the very top, the quad motor, the most powerful one, is 835 horsepower and 908 pound-feet of torque. That one will do 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. So there is no slow Rivian R1S. They do have a decent amount of heft and weight to them. They're right around the 7,000 pound range, just I think slightly lighter than the R1T. Overall dimensions is also slightly smaller than the R1T. It's 14.7 inches shorter in wheelbase and about 1.5 foot shorter overall length. This is right just at 200 inches overall length, which is a tiny bit longer than a Model X. But if you think about a Tahoe or Suburban, it's like a foot shorter than a Tahoe. It's 2 feet shorter than a Suburban. So that gives you kind of the context of the size, right? It's sort of in between that mid-size and full-size SUV space. There are 4 different battery pack options. We have the Standard Plus, we have the Large, and we have the Max. This one here is the Max. But for example, there's some restrictions. You can't get the standard battery pack with the Performance Dual all-wheel drive. You can't get the Max battery pack with the quad motor. So this one here is the largest, 149 kilowatt hours, EPA rated at 400 miles of range. This is the least amount of range anxiety I've ever felt in an EV, right? Charging is charging across the board, and now Tesla has access, or Rivian has access to the Tesla supercharger network, so that is a big piece of news, like 15,000 chargers. You will require an adapter at first, but in 2025, later on, they'll start putting the NACS charge port on this from the factory. 400 miles of all-electric range definitely makes the range anxiety really not a thing, right? I'm down to 57% right now. It's showing 229 miles, which is totally fine. The smaller battery packs, they scale down, right? So I think the Standard Plus on the Performance Dual Motor is 315 miles, 352 if you go for the Large, and then the Max, like I mentioned, has 400. The R1S is also definitely built as like a more enthusiast, like overlanding, going camping, nature, like all-around vehicle. So it has off-road credentials too. We have air suspension, adjustable height. You can get up to 15 inches of ground clearance. We have all-wheel drive. The really fancy stuff goes to the quad motor, right? Because you have independent control on each of the wheels. So it actually gets more drive modes. This one here has 5 different drive modes. We have the regular all-purpose, which is what I use when I'm on the road. We have sport, snow. This one here is like off-road. What is it called again? Slow down to change ride height. And then there's like a sand one. There's 9 different drive modes for the quad motor. It adds like a rock crawl, there's a rally, there's a drift mode. So there's definitely more for that top tier model. But even here, you can get off-road tires, underside protection pack. This can wade through 39 inches of water, which is actually more than a Land Rover Defender 110 that I had last week. The adjustable air suspension is really cool. It goes up and down pretty quickly. And you can change things like the ride feel. It's all controlled through this main touchscreen, this 15.6-inch infotainment screen, which with the more recent over-the-air update, the graphics, the data, the interface is fantastic. I am so surprised that I am not throwing a temper tantrum about missing CarPlay. I like having CarPlay. CarPlay is so convenient, the screen mirroring for everything. You just get in and go, right? But what I realized was really just use it for Spotify and navigation, right? And with this system here, it's so well designed, it's so easy to use, it's easy to read, it's intuitive. Built-in nav, fine. I have had no complaints, right? Navigating to where I need to go, to the gym, to pick up my girlfriend, to go wherever, to go home. It's been perfectly fine. It tells you your range. It's all integrated. It can pull up charging stations and so forth. When you plug in that you're going to a charging station, it starts preconditioning the battery. So from that regard, it's actually way more advantageous to use the built-in nav than to use Google Maps on my phone. Same thing with Spotify. Music pulled up, right? Just logged in, linked it. That's all good to go. The graphics and data for the vehicle itself is really nice. I mean, let's scroll over, take a look at the artwork for the drive modes, and then right now it's showing like where power is going, where my front steering is, data from battery pack temperature, the motor temperatures, the tire pressures, elevation, bit of everything. And there's so much you can explore with the system. Cameras are in the screen here. The camera resolution is not good. I will complain about that. It is pretty blurry. Part of it might be because it's on such a big screen, it's a high resolution screen, but that camera resolution is not great. You can pull up the charging screen here, see all that information, and then, oh, this is also really cool. The air vent controls. I'll do a more in-depth interior tour too, the air vent controls and everything. It's just a really nice screen, and I have not found myself missing CarPlay at all. The complaint when CarPlay isn't there, it's usually because if some native infotainment systems are just bad, all right? So when it's good and well-designed, no complaints. It works great. What has this been like to drive? Well, it's great all around. I mean, the power and torque is stupendous, right? Even as a mid-tier performance, not the quad motor one, this thing is fast. Off the line, you take off. You do get a lot of squat in the suspension if you really, really push it off the line. Hello, Amazon van. It's always cool seeing those. Look a little, I don't know why I just waved at an Amazon van. The drivers were like, what the heck? Anyways, I found that all-purpose suspension and standard ride height and ride feel soft is what I would go with. The handling and ride compliance is worse than the R1T. This definitely, I don't know if it's the shorter wheelbase, the tuning is much more firm. And if you go into sport mode, it's like borderline uncomfortable on especially more broken, harsh pavement. The suspension drops down, right? So it's going to low, and then there's a lowest, which looks really cool, right? Because it's like you slammed your Rivian, but like it is really, really firm, even with ride feel and soft. But sport is when you get to have fun and go wee, right? So that sometimes that trade-off is absolutely worth it. We're not doing any off-roading right now. Someday I would definitely want to try them out because EV's off-roading really cool because you have so much control of the instant torque. It's also really quiet and smooth. So that part is a really, really cool experience when you're off-roading EVs. Interior-wise, great. Fit and finish is really, really nice. I've noticed some minor little squeaks and rattles, right? But at the same time, I've had stuff in here. A lot of times it's actually more like your things, like my water bottle or whatever that's making noise. It's not the car. So if you really want to hear squeaks and rattles, just got to empty the car. Make sure there's nothing in cup holders or in little storage bins and things like that. The materials are high quality, like real nice. We've got real open pore ash wood. You can feel the texture and it's just really, really cool. We've got vegan leather, but it feels like high quality leather. The seat design is cool too. We've got this little like canvas insert, interesting styling, everything. We've got recycled microfiber like headliner suede up there. Real metal across trim. It feels like a $100,000 vehicle interior, whereas there have been some other vehicles or like Teslas, right? You get in them like, this is how much? The interior feels like a rental car grade, right? It's just not up to par. Software integration is fantastic. I love the styling here. There are virtually no buttons though. Everything is through the steering wheel, these two little toggles, which you learn. The left side I can hold to go from the efficiency map to navigation or go to tire PSI. So I can change that one. The right side just has my speed and what park, reverse, neutral, drive I'm going in. Everything is in the main touchscreen in here, but it works. I love the random little innovations too. Like there's a big Bluetooth speaker right here in the center console, the flashlights in the door, the air compressor. You've seen all those things. We don't have the gear tunnel. That's the R1T truck thing, right? We have plenty of practicality out back. Headroom is great, big panoramic roof. So from that regard, it's a big checkbox for me. It's hands down, it fits the price tag and you feel it when you step into this vehicle, and it needs to because it's very competitive. It's getting very, very competitive. So any deficiencies will not serve you well. Oh, that's fun. That is definitely fun. but I would do the quad motor. I would go for the quad motor. Let's talk about the pricing, the value point, right? So this one here is optioned at just over $100,000. The big ticket ones, the battery pack, the max is $16,000, but it's actually a $10,000 delta to the large battery pack, which I would probably do anyways. So that's $6,000 for the large battery pack. Throw in an extra 10, get you to 16 for this one. It does have the performance dual all-wheel drive, and you get to about $100,000, which is a pretty good price point for this. I think the cheapest R1S, if I just like put no options on it, was like $75,000 on the configurator, and then I optioned out like a quad motor, and it wasn't actually that much more because you can't get the max battery pack. So therefore, it was still right around $100,000. So call it between 75 to just over $100K for a R1S. You can tack on accessories, maybe get up to 110, add some other different things, bigger wheels and so forth. Get the roof tent. That would be fun. What about the competitors? So prior to the EV9 GT, everything was kind of like in this upper echelon of luxury performance. The Kia EV9 GT, I drove that a couple weeks ago. That one was a GT line, which was top of the line, $78,000. But the cheaper ones are in like the 50s-ish, 60s range. So that's a much more mainstream offering. It doesn't have as much of the off-road capability. It doesn't have adjustable height air suspension. It doesn't have the bells and whistles of the Rivian. It's not meant to be a direct competitor. What does this directly compete with? Well, I mean, the Model X is definitely a more on-road type of thing, and I would take this over a Model X 10 times out of 10. I would not even hesitate whatsoever. The Mercedes EQS is going to be way more expensive. That thing starts at like $104,000 or something and just keeps going up. The EQS SUV. Mercedes, why did you pick that naming convention? You have the EQS sedan and the EQS SUV, and everybody's like, which one is which? Haha. What else is out there? We have Tesla, we have this. The Lucid Gravity will be very, very interesting to see. I believe that starts around $80,000, but can get to like $250,000 for the Sapphire, what I presume is the Sapphire. I assume we'll get more options. The American brands for the release, I think Jeep has something coming. I wouldn't be surprised if Ford will release something at some point. I know GM will be doing electrified versions of their SUVs and trucks and so forth. So do I think this is a good value? Actually, I do. I really like everything about this, right? I was trying to think of complaints. I mean, there's a couple little minor little like fit and finish things, like, but for just like I felt after I drove the R1T, for a new company building a brand new car from scratch, it is seriously, seriously impressive. I've noticed fit and finish issues on plenty of other incumbent OEMs that have been building cars for decades and decades and decades, right? You get a lot. There are definitely incentives still, I believe, and some of the lease deals that are popping around right now on Rivians. I got fed a R1T R1S quad motor, and it was like $660 something a month, but then you had to calculate the cash down and so forth. But it was a 36-month lease. I was like, oh boy, for a $100,000 vehicle and what I'm experiencing right now, like that's actually really, really good. R1T, same thing. My friend Preston is picking up R1T tomorrow, right? Might meet up with him and see his new Rivian. And customer satisfaction is through the roof. I think I may have mentioned that already. The people who buy and experience Rivians are so happy with their vehicles. They're loyal. They want to come back. And a lot of them probably get it with R2s and R3s and R3Xs and so forth. The styling is distinctive. They developed a really cool brand for themselves. Just look at the front face, right? The two oval lights there, the kind of elongated circles. Although somebody said this to me, I forget when, early on. They're like, it looks like Dyson like vacuum, or the Dyson like fans. And I can never unsee that ever again. But it definitely is very distinctive. You see it immediately. This forest green color is beautiful. Absolutely love it. Girlfriend loved it. My mom saw a picture. They're traveling right now. She goes, oh, that looks like it'd be great for me. I'm like, yeah, you probably really like this thing. So definitely big thumbs up. The Kia EV9 is going to be a challenge, especially if you want more mainstream. You're just looking for a 3-row electric SUV, but this has just way more bells and whistles. So you're a tier up, and then we are $30,000 more expensive. So that's not exactly fair either. But as you can tell, I like this quite a lot. It's fun to drive, it's easy. The only complaint I would have is ride quality. It does not ride that well. It doesn't steer the best. I think the EV9 still drove better and like steering feel and things like that. And the ride quality, I'm gonna go back into all purpose. Yeah, it gets really, really firm. I don't remember the R1T being as bad. I need to try out Preston's when he gets it. But overall, I mean, super impressed. They just keep improving them over their updates, and they're launching more models. I want to check out the R2, and as with many, many people, I kind of want an R3X. We're like years out from that, right? I don't think we're going to see those until like 2027, 2028 type of thing. But like, I'm impressed. I want Rivian to do well. I want them to succeed. With that, we'll go back to the vlog. I'm gonna do like an interior exterior tour for you guys. I'll show you some of the details. It's been a really fun week living with this. Well, today ended up being a beautiful day. The sun is out, it's warming up, and take a look at the paint here in the sun. This forest green metallic paint. Man, that looks so good. We've got the key fob here. It's like this little activity key. It's got a little carabiner on it that you can actually clip to things. And then it's all rubberized. We can double tap to open the front trunk, double tap to open the rear trunk, lock, unlock. It's unlocked. And listen to this. This is not birds in the, well, there are birds in the background, but when you lock the Rivian, it makes little trippy bird noises. Ready? All right, we are off to the gym to go get a workout in. So back into the Rivian we go. Door handle's out. Step in. There's no on button. You just get in, put your foot on the brake, and you go drive. Very easy. Cup holders are right here. You can put that away. And we've got this huge storage space down here, just open. Perks of having a flat load floor because of the battery pack. And I'm just gonna put my giant gym water bottle there. And yeah, that's it. Let's go. Wait, what happened? Oh, my door's not closed. Oops. There we go. You know, I'm not going to complain about no CarPlay or Android Auto because this built-in navigation is pretty good. Set up Spotify, it's working. Would I prefer it? Absolutely, just because it's easier. That's what I'm used to. But I'm kind of learning this system here, which is totally fine. We've arrived at the gym. How do you quickly pull up cameras? Right there. Super easy. Look at that. Perfect. Done. Park. We've got to go pick up some groceries, trip to Costco. I'm gonna use the front trunk on the Rivian. Check out this wake up sequence too. When you unlock, and I'll double tap, and it'll power open the front trunk. Pretty spacious. Just a little cooler in there. On the key fob, double tap. Goes ahead and close. I really like this little display here on the left that is showing your efficiency over time. How many miles per kilowatt hour are you consuming as you're driving the vehicle or sitting there? And miles per kilowatt hour is the measure like MPG for gas cars, right? So how many miles can you go for each kilowatt hour of your battery pack? We've got a Rivian puddle lamp. That's always fun. I like puddle lamps. It's been a while since I've done a Costco cargo capacity test. So a lot of groceries from Costco. Go ahead, pop the front trunk. I love a proper front trunk. It always bugs me when there's an EV without a front trunk. Like when they design these platforms, why wouldn't you do that? It's so much more flexible. It's like one of the biggest perks of not having an engine here. Easy. Not even straining the front trunk cargo capacity. This is a proper size front trunk on the R1S. I had walked away and I just heard a bird chirp behind me. I was like, oh yeah, the Rivian probably just locked itself. One more quick stop at Meijer, and then we go home. I'm hungry. Ooh. It pulled up the cameras automatically. Nice. I'm actually quite liking this infotainment screen. The UI, the software is very easy to use, very nice graphics, and it's like really user-friendly. So I will say with confidence, I'm actually not missing CarPlay right now. Logged into Spotify and using the built-in navigation has been totally fine too. Take a look at the cluster at night as we are currently now just heading home with a front trunk full of groceries. We're gonna put the Rivian in the garage tonight because tomorrow it's supposed to rain, so it'll probably be a day at home catching up on work. We'll probably take it out. You know they say early bird gets the worm? Well, I don't want the worm. It's currently 7-something in the morning. Yep. Heading off to work. Angel, you're going to work. I'm going to work. I'm just gonna go to out of office garage. That's still work for you. Yeah, I'll probably go charge this at some point too. The graphics on the center screen are pretty cool. You see how it renders the Rivian itself in its actual specs. So it's a green R1S, and oh, it disappeared. But you see there's a truck right there. So the proximity sensing, also when you're in a highway with the drive assist, that pulls up too. Obviously, first things first, bring your Canadian girlfriend to Tim Hortons, right? Yes. Morning necessities. We're down to 51% charge, but that's still showing 205 miles. But because of my schedule over the next couple days, we're just gonna go find a charger. Sad thing is, look at some of these. These are 11 kilowatt max, 6.6. That's pathetic. But here is an EVgo 1.8 miles away, 350 kilowatt max, 204 available. Let's give that a shot. We have arrived. The charge door is on the driver's side front, so we're gonna back in like this. All right, this charger is named Vivian. Oh, GM Ultium. Please be fast. Please work. Plugged in. 52 cents per kilowatt hour, plus a 99-cent charging fee. I actually have no idea like pricing on electricity right now, so. And there we go. All right, do the thing. We've got the charging animation, which is this pulsing green light bar up front, and the light around the actual connector. All right, the dash is showing charging 198 miles per hour, so it would take an hour and 40 to get to full range. You can set a charge limit max up there. It's often recommended to only go to 80%, which is probably what I would get this to. And I think there's some other EVs, newer ones that have come out, newer generation that charge faster than this, like the 800 volt architecture. I know like the Lucids and some of the new Kia family ones charge really, really quickly. Like we're talking 25 minutes to add get up to 80%. The Rivian does take a little bit longer. This is what you do when you're waiting for charging. You pull your laptop out, play with your phone, watch the numbers climb up. The miles per hour actually peaked. They got into the 220s. Yeah, look at that. All right, we've added 64 miles. So just chugging along, and I think it's $10-ish so far. All right, 80%, 321 miles, slower, close to full charge. That is plenty enough. We'll hit stop charging, go ahead and unplug. Let's see what the session summary says here. We added 48.3 kilowatt hours and 40 minutes parked here. So this one here has the max battery pack, which is 149 kilowatt hours, and the EPA estimates right at 400 miles of range. So this is the longest range combination you would get on a R1S. Whoa, so I'm turning down the fan speed, but take a look at this. You move these around to move like where the air vents are going. Watch this. You know, we've got plenty of electrons now, so you know, we're going to sport mode. The suspension drops down. Ready? That's pretty quick. And the response is just like instantaneous. Ready, and we floor it. And there's a faster version. We have a tunnel. Not the same when you're not in a twin turbo V8. So two things. The Rivian doesn't really make a bunch of like spaceship generated noises. You just hear like the whir of the electric motors, and I kind of like that. And then the other thing is, in sport mode, the ride gets uncomfortable. Like there's almost too much body motion, like a little bit of like porpoising almost, like you feel like you're bouncing way too much. It does drop the ride height. I'm in lowest, but I have ride feel in soft, even soft in sport mode. It's uncomfortably firm, and if the tarmac has a lot of cracks and stuff like that, it's not good. So I prefer the kind of all-purpose ride quality. You can actually hear like when the road's not good, it just, the impact noises are so much. Yeah, listen to that. That is not comfy. Arrived at out of office garage. Grab stuff out of the front trunk. So there's three ways. You can use the touchscreen inside. There's actually a button down here to the left of the camera. Press that, the front trunk can open, and you can also use the key fob too. Quite a productive day. Let's actually put my stuff in the trunk. It's a split tailgate, so the top part goes up, and then we have a button right there. And the lower part of the tailgate has a 500-pound weight limit, so if you're like camping or tailgating, you can sit on there. I'm the first one at the light, so I gotta do this. Oh yeah, we also have auto hold, so anytime you come to a stop, the brake holds it for you. Yeah, I just got some tire spin. It looks like it's becoming green car week, but these two are very, very different. The Rivian and an X5M competition just got dropped off. We'll be taking the Rivian out shortly. Need to finish up some editing upstairs. I'm gonna move the cars around real quick. The steering wheel is pretty basic. We have the scroll wheel and the button on either side. And then the logo here, it's flat bottom, trimmed in that leather. Real metal, which is also really nice. You can feel the wood there. And then we have, this stalk is multi-function. So down is drive, up is reverse. You press the button on the end for park. But also when you're driving, you see that there. If you toggle down twice, it's cruise control and like the driver assistance on the freeway type of stuff. On the left here, we have windshield washer, windshield wiper, and the headlight controls and so forth. And also turn signal, obviously. We've got speaker grills here, 19-speaker Meridian sound system, which is quite nice. Oh, we have no glove box. On the R2, they're adding like 2, but on the R1, no glove box. Air vents here. I think I showed you guys, but you can like drag it around. You can actually watch the air vents move. I'll do it on the right one. Look at that. That's just from dragging on the touchscreen, which is pretty awesome. We have the flashlight here in the door. Pop that out. It's 1,000 lumens. Pretty nice. Got the Rivian logo. Charges when you leave it plugged in. Okay. Would not recommend. I mean, I've got tons of headroom. We even have another window up here, another sunroof, but I have no legroom. This is quite uncomfortable. Oh, there we go. Oh gosh. So the third row for children and bags and so forth. It's still nice back here though. Like very nice materials, cup holder, 2 seats back here. All right, I'm getting out. Push the seats back. Okay, all the way back there. Let's see. I would say that's decent legroom. So I would say that Kia EV9 I was driving had better second row legroom and space. Headroom is great here, but it's not anything crazy in the second row of the Rivian R1S. A lot of really cool other stuff back here. We have another touch panel for climate, heated seats, USB-C ports. Even have a USB-C port right here for charging in the headrest. Little hanger, and the seat backs are pretty cool too. You can like put stuff back there. The doors, these like pop out. They're like stretchy. Rivian logo. I don't see actually a Meridian logo for the speakers, but nice sound system. Also, lots of cool little logos. We have Rivian logo there, the Rivian lettering here, and look at like the floor mat carpeting. It's like this textured canvas like material. Really cool. Looks like it'd be easy to clean and really rugged. Speaker grill there. On the B pillar, that's the B pillar right there. It's stamped in. We've got one back here on the C pillar too. Yeah, they do a good job with the little details that tie the whole thing together. So we do have the window sticker right here, R1S Performance Dual Max. So adventure package, 78 grand, that's like the starting price. Max battery pack, 16K. The forest green is 1750. 21-inch road wheels and tires included. The interior black mountain plus the dark ash wood, that's included. The tow hooks, and then a performance dual motor all-wheel drive. So between the performance option and the max battery pack, we're talking just over 20K. So 100,750 plus destination, so 102,550. But a lot of stuff is already standard, right? So highway drive assist, that type of stuff, your adaptive cruise control, your the different safety features and things like that, the heated cooled seats, the leather, like a lot of that stuff is already here. Oh, gear guard, like you can use the cameras to record to protect your stuff. Let's see, you save in fuel costs compared to the average new vehicle, so forth. Yeah, so there's the window sticker on the R1S. The bird chirping lock sound is still just kind of fun. The end of our time with the R1S has arrived. We're going to be taking it back down to the Rivian office, dropping it off, saying goodbye. Oh, yeah, this green paint, this metallic green is looking so nice in the sun. So you can see my phone is just moving around just from normal speeding up and slowing down. That's just me using regen brakes. King. So the wireless phone charger definitely needs like a little border or something to hold my phone in place. Some final thoughts on the Rivian R1S after spending a week living with it. This is the least amount of range anxiety I've ever felt in an EV. That max battery pack really is pretty awesome. I mean, I'm at 44%, showing 178 miles of range. I've been in some EVs that when they're at 80 to 90%, they're barely above one, like they're in the low 200s, right? So this is really, really fantastic from that regard. It doesn't have the fastest charging speed, especially compared to some of the newer like 800 volt architecture EVs, so that is a slight downside. But you get the big battery pack that is definitely alleviated. It's plenty quick. I love the packaging. It's so practical. The styling is nice. I love the interior materials. The tech is really, really nice too. The only major complaint I can think of is the ride quality. It's just a bit too firm and unsettled and a little jarring sometimes depending on how terrible the road surface is. It has a hardware, right? It has air suspension and it has like not like crazy like race tire setup. Like it's got enough sidewall on the tires and things like that. So I would hope they can do a little bit more fiddling with suspension to make it ride a little bit better. The R1T I think was a bit more comfortable. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, this is such a good vehicle. And at 100K, I would almost say like it is a good value. I know it's crazy to say that because it is extremely expensive, but like that Kia EV9 GT line that I had was 78 grand, and that was also really, really good. But I think the sweet spot for that was in the 60s range. I think the sweet spot for this, like you can get R1Ss and R1Ts probably in the 80s and 90s, and for an extra 10, 20K versus something like the EV9, like you're getting a lot. And then you look at something like the EQS, it's way more expensive. I'd definitely rather have this because the EQS, not interested. Anyways, yeah, wrapping up my time with the R1S. I cannot wait to try out the R2 and obviously the R3, R3X at one point. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Thanks for watching.